Spider-Man, brand new day. It feels like almost every other day we are getting new news about this movie, whether it's story details or plot details or set photos from the movie, and today is no different. So today we're going to be talking about the newest news and casting announcements about Spider-Man Brand New Day. But before we get into anything, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, hit that noti bell. Alright, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let's get right into some of the newest castings that we have. One of which is Tramell Tillman from the Sinners movie was also added to the cast. I personally think he is going to be playing Tombstone. I know there are some rumors about Miles Morales' dad or potentially even Norman Osborn. I think either of those options would be cool. Again, I would really prefer Tombstone or Norman Osborn. I think Tombstone or Norman Osborn would be the coolest. Miles Morales, I don't want introduced or even mentioned in this movie. I want that saved for the next movie. Again, we have so many characters and so many storylines that are going to be going on in this film. I would want Miles Morales to be more of a focus in the next film. That way he gets to be fleshed out a lot more and it doesn't feel like he's being forced into a story where there's already a lot going on. But that's not all, because we also got it announced that Florence Pugh will be reprising her role as Yelena Belova from the Thunderbolts movie, Black Widow, and appearance in Hawkeye. Now, when I first heard about this news, and even now, I will be totally honest, I'm not stoked about it. This isn't anything against the actor, the one who portrays the character. This is simply me wanting a grounded Spider-Man story, and me wanting a movie that is centered around Spider-Man. As it stands right now, we already have the Punisher, the Hulk, Scorpion, Tombstone, rumors about Mr. Negative. So with all of that being said, we have a lot to cover in this movie, and there's no way this movie will be over 2.5 hours. So that all being said, we are starting to have way too many characters to be able to all fit into a nice cohesive movie, especially being that we want this movie to be a grounded Spider-Man story, something we really haven't gotten with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And the end of No Way Home set us up perfectly, and I don't understand why they're adding all of these characters to this movie. Now, there are a couple possibilities for this that could make this a little bit better. One, this is not officially confirmed, it is a rumor. It was kind of put out there by, I believe one of the first people was Daniel RPK. He's a pretty notable insider and comes up with these reports, and a lot of times he is really accurate. So that's why when I saw that, I decided I need to report on this, because there is a good chance that it does happen and she will appear in the film. That being said, this isn't etched in stone, so it could end up being a rumor. I personally hope it is. If it isn't, I hope that Yelena is not in the movie, but instead she appears in the post-credit scene. That could really be cool, because we know the Thunderbolts are more so based in New York. So if several of the characters from the Thunderbolts, then made New Avengers, do appear at the end of that movie and recruit Spider-Man, maybe they fill him in on them seeing the Fantastic Four ship. That could be a nice way to transition into Avengers Doomsday and help with that cohesion. However, if it's anything other than that, I really think this film will suffer, because we have so much story to go through, and the characters we do have, Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man, Scorpion, Tombstone, all of these characters in their own right could have a movie with just Spider-Man and it be a good movie. You could have enough substance with just 2 or 3 of those characters. And now we're adding another character to that, and again, it really makes me nervous. Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel superhero, so I really want to see this movie do well from a story perspective and obviously from a box office perspective. It just makes me really nervous with all of the things that they're putting into it. It's reminding me of Spider-Man 3 and also of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2 had amazing story elements, but I think even people who are really big fans of that movie can agree it was overstuffed. There was way too much going into it, and that's what this movie is starting to feel like. And that's why I'm really, really hoping that Florence Pugh is only going to appear in the post-credit scene. I think that could actually be really, really cool if she appears in a post-credit scene, or even at the very tail end of the movie. Maybe the last 5 minutes. That would be fine. It's just really tough when you have the Hulk, who is all but confirmed to be going back to the Savage Hulk. There's going to be a fight between Spider-Man, Punisher, and then Spider-Man, Punisher, and the Hulk. That already is enough in the movie. And then you add in Scorpion, the potential for Mr. Negative, and then also you have rumors that Tombstone is going to be in this film as well. That's a lot to handle in one film. And that's why I say it is starting to feel oversaturated and overbloated with too many characters. And that can make for a really, really bad movie, especially when all the groundwork has been laid to have an amazing, grounded Spider Man story for the first time in years. That is something we desperately need, and I know a lot of Marvel fans have been essentially begging for it. It's been over a decade since we got just a standalone, grounded Spider Man story. And that's something we really, really need. He's by far the most popular character in Marvel, arguably in all of superheroes. So this is a movie that the character needs to be done justice. And in order to do that, you cannot have so many characters taking away from Spider-Man, especially because right now he is set to go on a crazy journey. He just lost everything. He has nothing and no one. And that's why everything with the Punisher and the Hulk, that could all tie in so nicely. And they could be a representation of what he doesn't want to be. And you could even have them fight each other. And that could fit well into the story. And then we also have the actor who plays Scorpion. He posted something. I don't know if it was on his Twitter or Instagram. It may have been taken down by now, but it was an image of Scorpion, and Scorpion had the symbiote around him. So is this a tease of something to come in the future? Or potentially in this movie. Maybe during this movie at some point he gets the symbiote. As we know from the comics, Scorpion is one of the primary wearers of the symbiote. Aside from Eddie Brock, Spider-Man, and Flash Thompson, I think Scorpion's the one that normally has it the most aside from those characters. And him having the symbiote could be a really, really cool story. Have him going against Spider-Man, Punisher, and that could actually give us an avenue to where maybe the symbiote, or at least part of it, gets on the Hulk. Maybe that's how we end up with a more savage version of the Hulk. Because maybe it's not going to fully take him over, but maybe it'll tap into that inner rage that's been hidden deep down that we've had kind of suppressed since he became Professor Hulk and Smart Hulk. And honestly, I think that could be really, really cool. I'm just really hoping that Florence Pugh is in the end of the movie. I think having her in it could lead to other members of the new Avengers being in it, and it could lead to this barely even feeling like a Spider-Man movie. And that is the opposite of what we need. Right now, we need a grounded Spider-Man story, and that has been set up so well from the end of No Way Home and everything that's been happening in Marvel that we desperately need this standalone Spider-Man movie, especially to do well. I know Fantastic Four didn't do the best at the box office, Thunderbolts didn't do the best, but Spider-Man is a household name, and just by having that title, it's going to do pretty well at the box office. You just don't want it to do critically horrible if you have it overstuffed. Again, I don't want it to be like Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not to say I didn't like those movies. I enjoyed them. I was there in the theater, and I loved them. But I can also acknowledge they aren't perfect Spider-Man movies. And Brand New Day at the beginning definitely seemed like it was setting up to be one of, if not the best Spider-Man film we've ever gotten. And that's definitely something I'm hoping for. I don't want Miles Morales in this movie. I personally want him to be introduced in the next movie. I think that would be really cool, and then have him and Tom team up. I know there are some rumors about him potentially joining the cast. Again, I'm just hoping that we don't get any more casting announcements about any big characters. We also have Sadie Sink in this movie, and we're not sure who she's going to be playing, whether it's Mayday Parker or some other character from the comics. Again, there's just so much speculation, and some of the characters are obviously confirmed who they're playing, like the Punisher. Obviously, we know who that actor plays, whereas other ones, it's more left to be speculated about. But yeah, let me know what all of you think down in the comments below, and while you guys are down there, like this video, subscribe to the page, hit that noti bell, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.